Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers Mike Tomlin speaks out on WR George Pickens not dressing versus Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers added wide receiver George Pickens to their injury report late in Week 14. He ultimately didn't play, as the Steelers elected to make him inactive on December 8 against the Cleveland Browns. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin addressed why in front of reporters after the game. GP was listed as questionable. We didn't feel like he was going to be able to play the type of number of snaps that we thought it'd be worth putting him in a uniform, to be quite honest with you, Tomlin told the media. We didn't want a small problem to become a big problem. So we put a helmet on Scotty Miller. The Steelers' offense appeared to miss Pickens early in the game. But Scotty Miller made some plays in the second half to help the Steelers avenge their November loss to the Browns. Miller finished first among Pittsburgh wideouts with 38 receiving yards on 3 catches. The Steelers defeated the Browns 27-14. The 18-year head coach stressed multiple times after the Week 14 win how his focus must stay on the players available and not the stars, such as Pickens, who aren't playing. Off of that, Tomlin praised Miller, who played on December 8 for the first time since Week 8. Most of the time, when you put the helmets on the healthy guys, man, they take care of the rest, Tomlin told reporters. Scotty made some plays for us. Thankful for that. That's another example of the team component of this game. Tip of the cap to Scotty Miller, man. Stepping up and making some big plays for us. Miller's biggest play of the day came on 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter when he caught a 21-yard pass down the sideline. Watching the reception live, it appeared Miller may have been out of bounds, but the replay clearly showed the veteran dragged both feet to record the first down catch. Steelers running back Cordarrelle Patterson fumbled 2 plays later, but cornerback James Pierre intercepted Browns quarterback Jameis Winston a couple plays after that. Miller's reception was key for field position and helped the Steelers run out the clock in the 13-point win. As he usually is, Tomlin was complimentary of his team's Week 14 opponent, particularly Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. Tomlin referred to Schwartz as a savvy coordinator and admitted that he did some nice things schematically. But Tomlin didn't answer how things were different in the game because Pickens wasn't on the field. You'll have to ask them that, said Tomlin when asked how the Browns played defensively without Pittsburgh's top receiver. If anything changed with the Browns' defensive approach, they may have played more man-to-man defense without having to guard Pickens. That tested the Steelers' receiving depth, which is considered one of the weakest in the league. But Miller and other veterans played well enough for the Steelers to win their 21st consecutive regular season home game versus Cleveland. Mike Williams, who hadn't recorded a catch in the past 3 games, had 3 receptions for 36 yards. Van Jefferson only had 1 reception, but it went for a 10-yard touchdown. Tight end Pat Freiermuth led the Steelers with 48 receiving yards and also scored. The Steelers improved to 10-3 and now hold a 2-game lead in the AFC North after the Week 14 victory. Russell Wilson credits Little Friday meetings for tweak that led to Pat Freiermuth touchdown. For the second time in as many weeks, the Steelers have a Pat Freiermuth touchdown from Russell Wilson. This is his second time catching a touchdown in consecutive games this year, having previously done so with Justin Fields. He also did it twice working with Ben Roethlisberger back during his rookie season. While it's impressive that he has done it with 3 different quarterbacks, his latest shows the work behind it. Wilson found Freiermuth for the touchdown on 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line, just inside the red zone. As the Steelers QB told it, they only tweaked the play late in the week. Although he didn't get into specifics, he acknowledged conversations during the week with OC Arthur Smith working their magic. Pat Freiermuth did a great job running up the seam. We had a little bit different concept earlier in the week and we just adjusted it later in the week, Wilson said, via the Steelers website. It was like, "Hey man, if he runs that seam, he may be wide open." We talked about that, those little Friday meetings help. We're always working, always trying to find ways to score. On the play, Freiermuth aligned off right tackle in a two-point stance. With WR Calvin Austin 3 motioning pre-snap and Ben Skowronek following on outbreaking routes, Freiermuth slipped inside up the seam in one-on-one coverage with Grant Delpit. By the time Wilson released the ball, help was too late. Freiermuth wasn't even quite out of his break by the time Wilson let it go. "We had the out route to the left and Pat, Freiermuth, did such a good job in man-to-man," Wilson said. "He does a really good job of isolating guys. He widened the guy and ended up catching the touchdown there. That was a good job on the line." That touchdown, Freiermuth's 5th on the season and easily his second most of his career, was a key moment. It gave the Steelers a 27-7 lead, a substantial cushion with nearly 20 minutes left over the Browns. The play also gave Freiermuth the opportunity to show off his punting leg, which is cool, I guess. Over the past 3 games, Pat Freiermuth has 13 receptions for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. It is his most productive stretch by some margin in a while with the Steelers. Minus his 120-yard game last season, he hasn't had many big receiving moments in recent memory. But it appears that he and Russell Wilson are starting to hit on a rhythm, and just in time. Wilson obviously missed the first 6 games, but he now has a rapport with his top targets. That includes not just Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens, but also Calvin Austin III and his running backs. He has also been finding Van Jefferson, who caught his 2nd touchdown of the year. Russ is cooking, and that is letting everyone else eat better. Key Pittsburgh Steelers pass rusher suffers groin injury. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost another defensive lineman on Sunday when starter Larry Ogunjobi went down with a groin injury early in the first half. Ogunjobi lunged to try and make a sack on Jameis Winston and pulled up. Ogunjobi tried to tough it out, but was pulled shortly after his efforts proved futile, and the Steelers ruled him out early in the second half. After the game, head coach Mike Tomlin mentioned the injury, and there is no telling how serious the injury is just yet. With Ogunjobi out, the Steelers got quality play from Isaiah Loudermilk. They sat down Dean Lowry on top of this, which left the team with just 3 healthy interior defensive linemen after the injury to Ogunjobi. Nose tackle Montravius Adams is fighting his way back from a torn meniscus, and could return against the Philadelphia Eagles, which would be a boost to the team if Ogunjobi is to miss time moving forward. If he cannot play, it seems likely that Loudermilk and Lowry will split the reps. Adams' return could signal more of him and Keanu Benton in sub-packages. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Larry Ogunjobi? Leave your opinion in the comments.